Yo, what's going on out there? It's Larry coming to you again with another blazing sports report. Alright, here's the thing. NBA Finals are set. They begin tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, tomorrow. And we basically get what the world has been wanting to see. Arguably the two best players in the game right now. Kevin Durant taking on LeBron James. Oklahoma City Thunder taking on the Miami Heat. Best of 7 to decide it all in the National Basketball Association. And in my opinion, this is going to be another knockdown, drag out slugfest like it has been in the conference final series for both teams. Granted that Oklahoma City basically won 4 straight against the San Antonio Spurs, who in my opinion were the best team in the NBA. They are riding a great wave of momentum right now. And like I told everybody else before in the Eastern Conference Finals, that Boston is going to play Miami Heat tougher than a lot of people think and possibly push it to 7. Everybody laughed at me, you stupid, you don't know what you're talking about. LeBron James going to kill him, they're going to sweep him, they ain't going to win the game. I told y'all. And what happened? Exactly what I said was going to happen. Now, Oklahoma City is a different breed of team than the Boston Celtics. They play faster, they're younger, they're more athletic. They have a lot more weapons at their disposal, if you will, than Boston had. Kevin Durant, flat out scorer. In my opinion, the second best scorer in the NBA outside of Carmelo Anthony. Best shooter in the NBA, in my opinion, though. Russell Westbrook, probably the second most athletic guard in the NBA after Derrick Rose. Point guard after Derrick Rose. James Harden, unquestioned 6th man of the year. Could start for any team in the NBA. Serge Ibaka. Yes, I said Ibaka. Shuts down the paint. I think he's leading the postseason in blocks right now. Kendrick Perkins, the wise man, doesn't concede anything to anybody in the paint. Thabo Sefolosha, great defender, great lockdown defender, has been stepping up his game, knocking down shots on the perimeter. Then you got the veteran, the old man, Derek Fisher, the man who has been there through so much throughout his whole career. You have a lot of guys on that team that can contribute in so many different ways, both mentally, throughout the locker room, and also on the court. You look at Miami Heat. LeBron James, without question, the best athlete in the NBA. Arguably the best player in the NBA. Dwayne Wade, the wise man of this group. I know Juwan Howard is on the bench, but D-Wade has been there. He knows what it takes. The most dynamic player that they actually have on the team. Chris Bosh, the X Factor, the man who, in my opinion, was the main reason that Miami were able to close out Boston in Game 7 by hitting 3 clutch 3-pointers. And not also on the defensive end, his length bothered them on the inside. He created second chance opportunities for his team. He broke up plays, and like I said, he's the X Factor. Udonis Haslem, the Grizzly guy. He's going to get in there, he's going to rebound, he's going to get nasty, he's going to get some outside shots on those pick and pops. Mario Chalmers. And you got Shane Battier, another guy, defensive presence on the team. He may be a little bit older, but that doesn't mean that the man still can't knock down a 3-point shot. James Jones, he's come out of nowhere to knock down some threes. And you have Mike Miller. If Mike Miller can sustain his legs, because he has been looking a little hurt out there. If he can sustain his legs out there, he's a threat for them. Now that's 8 players opposed to 7 for OKC, but OKC doesn't go that deep into their bench. I could have talked about Nick Collison, because you know he's another guy that comes in, he contributes for the team as well. But we haven't seen him as much as we have seen the other guys that I named from Miami. Now, matchup wise, you would have to say that at the point guard position, OKC has the unquestioned advantage because anybody in their right mind will take Russell Westbrook before they take Mario Chalmers. Mario Chalmers has absolutely no chance of stopping Westbrook one-on-one. So I'm assuming that Miami is going to put D Wade on Russell Westbrook to negate what he can do for those guys, and you will probably see Chalmers guarding Cephalosha to start the game off. Even though Cephalosha is bigger, I don't expect to see Chalmers guarding Westbrook one-on-one because I look at Westbrook like another Steve Blake. And we all seen what Russell Westbrook did to Steve Blake in the Los Angeles Lakers. That was just absolutely amazingly funny basketball to watch. Now, move to the two-guard spot. Cephalosha, he can guard D Wade. He can guard the best. He guarded Kobe. He guarded Ginobili. He guarded Terry. He can guard pretty much anybody that you put in front of him. He loves defense. He loves to play it. That's mainly his role. He knocks down the occasional three-point shot. But D Wade, as dynamic as he is, he's going to have to work hard to get his shots off. And we know that D Wade has been questioned with injuries this whole postseason. Now, D Wade, we don't know which D Wade we're going to get. This has actually been the one time throughout his whole career that we questioned which D Wade is going to show up. Are we going to get the man that can go off for 30 points at any given time? Or are we going to get this man who's hobbled by whatever is ailing him right now that he's not letting us know, and we don't know exactly what we're going to get? We know the marquee matchup. I'm going to get to that later. Go to the power forward spot. Chris Bosh versus Serge Ibaka. Serge is athletic. He's long, he's physical, he's strong, he's nasty, and he's going to get his on the defensive end. He may not contribute 11 for 11 every night like he did against the Spurs, but he will get in there. He will disrupt things for Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh is going to have to work hard. We know that Chris Bosh isn't the most physical guy, but I expect Chris Bosh to pull him away from the paint to try to knock down jump shots, to try to create driving opportunities for himself to get to the basket. That's what I expect Chris Bosh to do against a guy like Serge Ibaka. And you go to the center spot, which pretty much I don't know who starts. I don't know if it's Turioff or Anthony or whoever starts at the spot, whether it's Haslam, I'm not sure. But Kendrick Perkins, he's going to be a help defender because there's nobody outside of Chris Bosh who is a legitimate threat on the inside to score buckets. Haslam gets most of his points by knocking down those mid-range jump shots. He'll get a rebound or two. He will get some putbacks, but you don't expect to see post moves from a Haslam. He gets most of his points on the inside, so that means that Kendrick Perkins is going to be in there to help out on guys like D Wade and LeBron James as they drive to the basket to try to create help defense opportunities. That way on the kick out, the initial man guarding either of those two can worry about the perimeter guys that are out there waiting for the ball for three-point shots or what have you. Now the marquee matchup. Arguably the two best players in the league right now, Kevin Durant and LeBron James. Now, when you look at these two, it's two totally different playing styles with each one. LeBron James is an athlete, hell of an athlete. Most of his shots are coming attacking the basket, inside the painted area. Like I told y'all before, he doesn't have a consistent jump shot. He went off. Yes, I know that. But how many times have we seen that? We don't see it that often. So you can say whatever you want. I know a lot of people hated on me because I said that before. But hey, if you know the game of basketball, if you watch the game of basketball, you know that LeBron James is not a consistent jump shooter. Kevin Durant is a consistent jump shooter. Attacking the basket, he gets there, but it's not like it's physically as imposing as a LeBron James. Kevin Durant is long, he's wiry. He has like an 11-foot wingspan. I don't know, I'm just exaggerating right there, but the man is freakishly long. His length can get shots up over guys that we haven't seen. We've seen it against Dirk Nowitzki, how in that Dallas defense, when he just lofted it up over those guys. It's ridiculous what this man can do with the ball in his hands with that length that he has. Now, two contrasting styles. LeBron James is going to have to play this man on the perimeter, and Kevin Durant is going to have to keep this man out the paint. What LeBron James brings you is a physicality with his athleticism that has not been seen in the NBA before he arrived. The man is a 6'8", 240, 260, somewhere in there, beast of a man who can get to the basket at will. He can get people in foul trouble. You're not going to stop him with a light tap. You have to literally stop his momentum, which is easier said than done. With Kevin Durant, the man is crafty. He knows how to draw fouls. He knows how to get to the line, and he knocks down his free throw shots. The thing that is going to be intriguing to me is to see how they defend each other more than how they score against each other, because we know that somehow, some way, each guy will end up with at least 25 to 28 points a game in this series. That's what they're probably going to average between each one of those guys. The question will be, how do they stop each other? Not how they get their buckets, but how do they stop each other? How do they defend each other? Like I said, Kevin Durant has the length to bother anybody in the league. When you talk about a man who probably puts his arm up and is already close to a 10-foot wingspan jumping, it's kind of going to be a little frustrating, I think, for LeBron James, especially at the level that Oklahoma City is playing at right now. That it's going to be interesting to see how exactly LeBron deals with that. And then when you look at Kevin Durant, it's going to be interesting to see how he deals with that physicality of a LeBron James. Because you got to remember, before Steven Jackson, nobody really guarded Durant as physically as Steven Jackson did these whole playoff series. Steven Jackson did a marvelous job in one-on-one coverage with Kevin Durant in terms of keeping him away from the ball. You got to remember, back when they played the Lakers, Ron Artest did the same thing to Kevin Durant. He played him physical and it bothered him. Can LeBron James do the same thing? We know LeBron James isn't regarded as a lockdown one-on-one defender, but if he can get physical with Kevin Durant, knowing that he's not as physical as a lot of other guys are in this league, it's going to be up to Kevin Durant to create space for himself and also get some help from some picks from guys like Kendrick Perkins and Serge Ibaka. Because if there's one thing that was shown against the Boston Celtics, is that on those pick and roll situations, even though they adjusted in some games, Rondo and Garnett ran the pick and roll early in games, and it really confused the Miami Heat. It got Garnett open shots, it got Rondo some open shots, and it also got guys who brought the help, who left to help other guys get shots. I think the same thing is going to happen with this team, especially when James Harden comes into the game. James Harden is going to create so many opportunities for these guys, especially at the level that he's playing at right. James Harden right now is emerging into what we would like to call a star in this league. The man has knocked down clutch shots. He has gotten to the basket. He's knocked down free throws. The man is taking a beating, and he just keeps on going. James Harden, to me, is the most important player in this entire series, because what he brings to this team, Oklahoma City, is something that Miami does not have. That's a guy that comes off the bench and can literally fill a starting role on that team. Miami doesn't have that. Miami's lack of depth, actually, in my opinion, is going to be their Achilles heel right now, because Norris Cole, Joel Anthony, Mike Miller, those guys, I'm not going to say that I will rely on them as much as I would a James Harden, a Nick Collison, a Derek Fisher, those kind of guys, because Collison is going to play you rough. Derek Fisher has been there. He's crafty. He knows what it takes to get the job done. And James Harden is an enigma in all himself. But that's enough of me analyzing the situation. Let me go ahead and give you my prediction. Now, it starts out in Oklahoma City. It's a 2-3-2 format. 2 games in OKC, 3 in Miami, 2 in back in OKC. OKC has proven they can win on the road. Miami, thanks to a tremendous performance by LeBron James, they got their victory at Boston in a tough arena. but that OKC crowd is quite possibly the closest thing that we have to a college atmosphere in the NBA. Those guys are loud, they get at you, they get into you. Miami fans, they get loud when they want to get loud, but they're not necessarily what I would call a true home court advantage like OKC is. Those guys are going to be loud, they're going to be ruckus, and those 2 games in OKC are key to me, especially in how they perform, because San Antonio, they came in the final game and they bust out to an 18-point lead. And what did OKC do? They came roaring back and they battled back, and the crowd never got out of it. They were always into it no matter what happened. These guys are going to come out with so much extra energy because of their fans that it's going to be very difficult to stop these guys in game 1. I think that OKC will win game 1. They'll probably win that by a blowout. Game 2 will be a lot tougher. That's how a lot of these games have been going, these playoffs. Game 2 will be tougher, but I think OKC will win that. We go back to Miami. Miami will probably lose game 3, and everybody be like, oh my God, are the Thunder going to sweep them? I don't think they're going to sweep them. Miami will come back. They'll win games 4 and 5. Then when we go back to OKC, I think they close out in 6. That's my opinion. I'm sticking next to it, because what I've seen with this Thunder team is quite possibly tremendously just amazing what they've been able to do. They took apart the Lakers, took apart the Mavericks, they beat the Spurs. 3 teams. The 3 teams in the Western Conference since, I think it was 98, maybe a couple years before that, I'm not sure, but since 98, only those 3 teams from the Western Conference have made it to the NBA Finals. Only those 3 teams out the Western Conference. That's saying a lot. You've beaten the past 3 champions of your conference, and also 3 former NBA champions. Now you go on to the NBA Finals and you play the Heat. I think if the Thunder pull this off, this will be probably the greatest thing, because not only that, they're playing another team who has also been in the finals since that time. They've actually won it. Granted, it's not the same team, but still. The Thunder pull this off, I think this will probably be one of the... This will set the Thunder up tremendously for the long run. But if the Heat don't win it, I expect some changes to be done. First one, it's going to probably be Spoelstra. We all know that whenever teams fail, it's always the coach's fault. No matter what happens, it's always going to fall on the coach. So he'll probably be gone. But I will say this. If the Heat do win it, no one's going to look at the Thunder and say, oh, well, they should have done better, they should have competed a lot harder, and all this other stuff. Because the expectations are not on the Thunder as much as they are on one guy in Miami, and that's LeBron James. LeBron James has so much weight and pressure on his shoulders right now to get it done that he will be heavily scrutinized and ridiculed by many media outlets out there. Do I think it's fair that it should be all on his shoulders? No, I don't. But the reason that it is going to be on his shoulder is because of who he is. He's LeBron James. He's the man that left because it's been said, it's been rumored. I haven't never heard it myself, but it's been rumored. He said he joined this team because he couldn't beat the Celtics. He's beating the Celtics. Now, last time I checked, you have to beat the opposing conference to win the NBA championship. If he doesn't get it done after saying what he said when he first came together with the Heat, it's all his fault. Because he put the pressure on himself by making that statement. He put the pressure on himself because you can go out and you can join any other team. Nobody would care. But to do it in the fashion that you did, to hold a press conference, to announce where you're going, to make it public, and all this other stuff. You bring the pressure on yourself. Chris Bosh, no one cares about. Chris Bosh was playing in Toronto. D. Wade has a ring. He won it with Shaq and Gary Payton. and Alonzo Mourning, and those guys. But granted, they were in the twilight of their careers. LeBron James sought out help. He went and got the help. He lost last year in the finals. Now he's playing a team who, in my opinion, has the best player playing at the same level that Dirk did last year when they made their finals run. Do I think we're going to see another Dirk-like performance from Kevin Durant? Quite possibly. But I'm not counting out the Miami Heat because of LeBron James. And like I said, to me, the X factor for the Heat, Chris Bosh. To me, the main man that's going to make so much havoc for the Heat and create so many opportunities for his team is going to be James Harden. Those are the two key guys, in my opinion, to predicting however the outcome of this series does go. But like I said, I predict the Thunder will win it in 6. I know a lot of guys are going to hate what I just said. I really don't care. It's my opinion, not yours. If you got beef, leave it in the comments below. I respond to all comments that have been posted. You guys know that. So let me know what you guys think. I told you what I think. Thunder in 6. They win the first 3. Miami takes 2. They go back to OKC and they close it out at home. Larry Jenkins, this has been my report. I'll holler at y'all. Peace.